with a smile, and she holds my head up high. Don't you ever let anybody put you down, 'cause you are my little angel. And you make something more for me to do.
Hello, good evening. My name is Augustine, and I'm here to give another broadcast. Now, I don't know if we were able to listen to the message. It's about an orphanage an orphan person, an orphan girl who was sleeping and was dreaming. And in her dreams, she had this beautiful mother that do take care of her and then treated her like the world. And then when she suddenly woke up from sleep, she realized that it was just a dream. It wasn't actually real. Well, there are so many people that are out there that are challenged, and they are also orphans looking for a way out. And they are hoping that someday an opportunity will come, and that opportunity will give birth to a new beginning in their lives. Some of them has actually retired into some fraudulent activities and constituted themselves as nuisance to the society, involving in prostitution and armed robberies and the likes. And by the day, it's growing. When I drive down, I do see those people. They're on the roads. Some of them are hawking. Students, children that should be in school, they are hawking. And when you weigh what they are hawking, it doesn't worth more than $50. $50 is an overstatement. Some of them don't even worth up to $20. And this is what is happening within the African countries of our world. And I hope that sometime, yes, please. I hope that sometime things will change. Well, the reason I played that video or that audio was for you to understand that working with our system, the existing system, it's not going to be good. If we continue working with our system, the current financial system, it only gets more difficult. It only gets tougher by the day. Well, that's why TBC is here. So welcome each and every one of us that will be coming on live. I want to say thank you for coming on live. And I want to begin by showing my appreciation, first of all, to the administration of the community. The administration of the community, he has shown beyond my own human understanding a level of intellect and wisdom that trips me every blessed day. When I see how he has taken his time, I would say that it is through the wisdom of God that he has been able to put all these things down. Sometimes I do ask myself, is it possible for someone to, sorry, hold on. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So sometimes I do ask myself, is it possible for a person to be anonymous and even being anonymous is able to create so much impact in our world? That's a food for thoughts. Yes, I know that Bitcoin did something like that. Bitcoin at one time till today, no one knows who the author of Bitcoin is. And sometimes I am tempted to think I may be very wrong, so I stand to be corrected. But something goes up in my head that makes me think that the administration of the TBC community could be the same people that may have masterminded the concept of Bitcoin and then used Bitcoin as a test run to see how far it can go. And the test succeeds and project, which I presume is TBC. I stand to be corrected, I may be wrong. Now, I'm actually here for this broadcast, and the title of the broadcast is A Deeper Look into the Kringle Cash Back Office through the eyes of the administration. Now, I am not the administration. The administration are somewhere, and they take their time to study how the broadcasters make their broadcasts. So, as much as possible, I'm going to x-ray the Kringle Cash back office. And while I x-ray the Kringle Cash back office, I'm also going to make some necessary contributions, some contributions that have been silent over this while or over some time. Maybe some broadcasters may not have looked into it. And I hope that I'll be able to throw a good further light. Let me say further light. I hope I'll be able to throw in good light to some things in the Kringle Cash back office, which a number of us may not have been aware of. So please, before we begin, I would appreciate it if you can subscribe to my channel, and if you can also click the bell button, and then if there are consequent videos, when I come online, you can actually listen to it. Now, for those who have also been listening to my videos, I want to show my appreciation. You guys are good. Now, the reason why I am showing my appreciation is because I can liken myself to be a lecturer in the TBC community. Yes, I know I am a broadcaster. A broadcaster is a lecturer, kind of. Because for you to become a broadcaster, first you have to be a very good and ardent reader of the blog of the Kringle Cash and of a number of other things. Also, you should also be a faithful disciple in the community. Who are faithful disciples? Faithful disciples are people who are willing to obey the rules behind TBC community. And what are the rules behind the TBC community? It's a simple thing. If you are a newcomer, you have to first of all do the necessary registrations. You may be invited using the admin credits. within the month, within 1 month, you should be expected to make a payment of 8 grains of gold. When you've made a payment of 8 grains of gold, then the next thing you are supposed to do is to complete your profile. After you've completed your profile, then the next thing you are supposed to do is to get someone who will mentor you. That's the next thing you are supposed to do. Now, when the person mentors you, within a period of maybe a day or two, the person can mentor you. And the first thing that every mentor should do is to help you in becoming a billionaire, because the billionaire category is still far from being filled up. The last time I checked, the administration said that it's about 200,000 that are having at least one TBC and above. Now, I had to x-ray and examine and analyze the 200,000. Now, I stand to be corrected, but from my own understanding and insights, 200,000 who have at least one TBC and above, about 98% of them are sleeping. I stand to be corrected, but from my own understanding, about 98% of them are folding their hands and they are doing nothing. Now, if I would use the words of the admin has said, and he has repeated it a number of times. First of all, the first thing he has said is contained in the private notice. And if I am permitted, he did say that he would not allow the system to repeat itself. Which system is he referring to? The system of the fiat, where 98, 1% of the global population are having 98% of the global wealth. Now, that's the same system or mindset that the majority of the TBC community members who came into TBC early had, because they understood the concept of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is market driven. So at a point it was low, people bought into it luckily, and sometime in life, sometime later on in life, they became millionaires in the community. So if you were in 2009, 2008, you bought Bitcoin for just $100, then you'll be living large by now. Now, a good number of people had that mindset and they came into the TBC community and they carried that mindset because they thought that once they bought it at that low price, then at a certain time it would grow, because we are membership based. What does it mean to be membership based? We all know that we are seen as individuals that contribute to the TBC community. And as one person comes in, the person is seen as a grain of gold. And as that one person comes in, two people come in, three people come in, they will continue to appreciate until we are a billion. Now, in the market price value, the fiat equivalent, it what makes us our value. Initially, our intention was to get to 1 billion, but no, at this level, we are going to get to 1 billion grains of gold. So whatever be the fiat currency exchange, that's what we come when we've gotten to 1 billion euro. Now, we understand very well that very soon the system may very likely crash. Those of us who are subscribers to Dollar Vigilante. Now, the Dollar Vigilante is a young man, I think in his early 50s. I followed the man steadfastly over the past 2 years or thereabouts. He has been a wonderful man. I don't know how he gets his wisdom, but he's an intelligent man. So I would recommend that you subscribe to his channel if you have not yet subscribed to his channel. Now, the man has been able to enlighten me, and his predictions are before the end of the decade that the system is going to collapse. Now, I do not know, and I don't guarantee that what he's saying is true, but a good number of things he has said so far has also worked, yes, to be correct. Okay. Now, the thing I'm actually driving at is that the system will likely go down. And when the system goes down, there must be a system that is backing it up. And that system has to be very organized, like the TBC community, because you cannot expect Bitcoin to save the world. Why? Because Bitcoin is not evenly distributed. That is one thing that people should bear in mind. A good number of people who have Bitcoins now are the elites, and the elites are trying to repeat the same thing that they have done in the fiat system. Admin has seen that the system that was supposed to liberate humanity has been enslaved, which is in quotes is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is taking the shape, the coin market cap is taking the shape of the stock market. Now you can understand how the stock market is. You buy in low and you sell when it appreciates. It's the same thing that is also happening in the coin market cap. Now, in the system of the community, the TBC community, a good number of people still want to repeat the same thing. Now, I said that we're going to look deeply into the Kringle Cash back office, and I've spent 15 minutes addressing the community. I think it's high time I began. Let me share my screen so that I would have a reasonable time to explain, because in a short while, I have given myself 30 minutes so that those who have data can be able to listen to my broadcast, and those who do not have data, and well, I'm trying to make my videos in such a way that only those who have enough data can accommodate my video for 30 minutes. A good number of broadcasters, they take so much time, as much as 45 minutes, as much as an hour. I don't think it's conducive, because majority of us in the community are made up of the blacks. Yes, fortunately, some of us who are also whites, or some whites who are outside of Africa, also listen to these videos. I'm sure they must have so much data at their disposal. But I'm looking at the economic situation of the Africans who are not so financially capable. That's why I'm working to make sure that I limit my videos to 30 minutes. So let me share my screen, and then let me go into the details of today. Remember, my title is A Deeper Look into the Kringle Cash Back Office Through the Administration's Eye, or the eye of the admin. So let me share my screen. Okay, I guess my screen is now being shared. Now, for those of us that are with me, I would want to begin with this particular introduction. I'm not going to play the video. Now, this is for those who are bringing in people to the TBC community. We have seen it. Our name is what? Kringle Society. So for those of us who wants to watch, do well to watch. Now, we have built our model, because the whole heart of the TBC community is all enclosed in the Kringle Cash back office. That is the truth. Now, before we begin, I want to just talk about the environment within this Kringle Society. Those of us who have been following, you remember admin said that this is our logo. These things are penguins. Sorry, they are not penguins, they are dolphins. These dolphins represent the TBC community. Now, dolphins, they stand for peace. They are intelligent animals. They are fishes. And you can train them to the point where you can use them to do circus. You can use them to do some strong, wonderful entertainment. Now, those of us who can refer back to the blog, you can refer back to the blog, and you'll see the symbol of the Team Kringle Society is what? Dolphins. You could search it up on the blog. I'm short of time. I wouldn't want to go into that. Now, another thing I also want us to look into is this. Now, this thing kind of reminds me of a garden, like a Garden of Eden. Now, the admin is trying to build something. Now, from my own understanding, there is a place in the Lord's Prayers that said, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Now, how does it look like in heaven? Heaven is a place of eternal bliss. Heaven is a place of peace. Heaven is a place of joy. Heaven is a place where there are no sorrows, there are no weepings, there are no strifes, there are no troubles. That is heaven. Now, Jesus made a prayer when he was talking about the Lord's Prayer. I think the apostles asked him, "Master, teach us how to pray." He began by saying, "Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Now, I stand to tell you that this is what we are going to achieve. Now, it may look like I'm talking and I'm kind of delusional, but no, I'm not delusional. Now, for those of us who have followed me from the onset, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, there was a time I made a broadcast, and then it was an inspiration I received. And in that inspiration, it talked about TBC and the mark of the, TBC and the mark of the beast, something like that. Now, when I made that broadcast, the admin featured me on the blog, and I was warning the community, I was warning everyone that an event is coming, and that event is going to introduce a slavery system called the Antichrist, the RFID chip. Now, admin listened to it, he liked it, and then he put it on the blog. Then the TBC community was still very tender. Okay? Now, that event will surely come in. But there is a wall that is going to hold it back until the Lord finishes his own assignment on this earth. And that is the Kringle Society. The Kringle Society is here to rebuild the world, to make sure that there is peace restored back to this earth. Now, when you come to look into the way the world is built, you'll find out that there are so many differences. You find out that there is so much corruption. You find out that there is so much evil in the system. And sometimes a colleague of mine was talking to me. He was telling me that in Nigeria, he really wonders what it will be for Nigeria to become good again. Now, he was looking from the perspective of the fiat system. Of course, you cannot redeem the fiat system anymore. The fiat system has become so bad that it cannot be redeemed. But there is a way that it will be redeemed. And that way is using the Kringle Private Society. You and I will witness as the thing begins to happen. Now, when you look into the background, you will see that there is a difference between this place and this place. This is a developed city. Now, this is a kind of ghetto. Now, the point is this: all these things are symbolic. I can tell you that in another few years from now, the majority of the world are going to look like the one in front of us. If you can see my cursor, you see that these are skyscrapers. These are the kind of buildings that is going to be. Now, I dare to say some things from the scriptures. The Bible said in the book of Daniel that in the last days, knowledge will increase. Now, one of the things that will cause knowledge to increase is going to be the wisdom that God will pour out on these last days, so that innovations that men has never imagined will begin to happen. One of the people that created cars, there were two types of cars that were created. One of the cars was designed to fly. Another car was not designed to fly. One of the cars were using free energy, the one that was designed to fly, while the other one was using petroleum. Now, the elites looked at it and said, how do we make more gain? They preferred to pick the one that we are making use of now. And then he overlooked the one that flies and then uses free energy to operate. Well, I can't tell you now that over time, all those wisdoms, all those knowledge that were hidden is going to come back, because so many things will be done as the TBC community approaches 1 billion. Now, if we look at our system, our education system, we think that it is the most intelligent people that come out as the best. But no, the system was screwed from the very onset. It was designed in such a way that it does not allow cooperation. The system doesn't allow cooperation. That is why they set exams. When they set exams, they say this A should not talk to B. Now, that is how the system was designed. So someone who is so intelligent and performs excellently well, in reality, because he stands all alone, when he goes to the reality of the world and tries to mingle with the system, find out that he cannot work. He would always be in isolation. He cannot cooperate. Now, when you look into the Kringle Society, you will find out that the Kringle Society is built on an interlock system where one chain is linked to another. One chain is linked to another. In the Kringle Society, you cannot succeed without the help of another person. And that is why the event of distribution phase has come. And it is you individuals that will go out to do the distribution. After you have done distribution, you will also anchor them to some teachers. The system is built to depend on each other. It was not built to depend on a system, which is the central banking system. The system was not built to depend on an education kind of system. As we move into a billion, the TBC community would also naturally crumble some other systems, such as the medical system, the pharmaceutical systems. Now, some of you will be saying, yes, there are some diseases that are incurable. I can tell you, yes, that's very correct. Now, there are no diseases on earth that is incurable. The reason why I say so is simple, because the elites has designed the system to make you think that there are diseases that will not be curable. God, when he created this world, he gave humanity everything there is to survive. Now, they tell you that the world is overpopulated. That is the handwork of the elites. As we roll into 1 billion members, all these ideas that has been stuck in the minds of people, as we begin to roll into 1 billion, I tell you that those ideas will begin to roll out. I told you that this system is a system that is cleansing the world, and there is someone that is being used as or is being used to engineer the system, and that person is the admin. Now, that is the reason why you would not know who this person is. It is by law, because if the administration of the community is revealed, then that means the system has been compromised. So some of you that may be clamoring and complaining, thinking that someday the admin will spill himself or show himself, I tell you, most likely that event may never come. So work with the system as it is. I do assure you, you can go by my word. The TBC community, the Kringle Society, is a community building into a world of abundance. It is trying to recreate the way it is in heaven. Remember the Lord's Prayer, let thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This is what we are working to achieve. And in a short while, we are going to achieve it. I do not know if I would have all the luxury of time to attend to everything, because it looks like this particular picture alone has covered about 20% of what, or 50% of what I have to say. Now, those of us who can, we should take our time to read through this one. Now, another thing I also want to talk about is this particular thing. So many people may not have taken note of this, but this is giving us an idea of the statistics of what is going on behind the scene. Now, at the early times, during the early times, you find out that the majority of the people that were here were all Africans. Majority of the people that were Africans, but we're going to look at it together now. Now, from 2017, from when it was created, it is 6 million people has visited this site. Now, what does that imply? It clearly shows that we are growing, and we are growing steadily. Just like the fiat system crept into humanity, and then the gold backing was taken out, the government took over, and the system began to usurp its authority over humanity. And as it began to usurp its authority over humanity, then it began to affect humanity negatively. In the same vein, the TBC community is going to take that same path, but it is going to be much faster, because it has to restore back what has been taken away from humanity. Now, many of you do say TBC is my birthright. Now, I tell you, TBC is your birthright. In the fullness of time, you understand why the administration says that TBC is your birthright. So, like I said, we are going to look through all these places. This is South Africa, this is Nigeria. Now, this is Singapore, this is Uganda, this is South Africa, this is Nigeria, this is Ghana, this is Nigeria, this is Qatar, this is Cote d'Ivoire, Philippines, Bangladesh, Ghana, Singapore. Now, a good number of the people that are still here still reside within Africa. And Togo, majority are still Africa. Now, that means we have some work to still do. That means the distribution has not gone global, it has not gone viral. Nonetheless, don't be discouraged, because Rome was never built in a day. Now, I see a way that God is giving back the blacks an opportunity to try again. Now, there was a particular person that said, we cannot revive a graveyard. Now, that particular person who said we can't revive a graveyard, who was he referring to? He was referring to Africa as a graveyard. Well, I want to tell you that one of the best brains that exist in the world are from Africa. One of the best brains. I am not here to compete anyway. I'm not here to prefer a particular race to another race. But what I'm trying to say is that due to our leaders that has ever existed from time immemorial, all they have been interested in is greed. Yes, it has not been from the onset that Africa is supposed to be like a graveyard. But I want to tell you that because of the hardship, and they have accepted this new system, which is the Kringle Society, which is TBC. In another short while, when life starts coming into the TBC community, you'll find out that over the next few years, Africa will be one of the best. I want you to also remember that civilization began from Africa. Now, civilization may also end from Africa. So I have to tell you that there are so many things that are coming to Africa, which you may not be aware of. But do stay with us in the TBC community and watch how these things will unravel. Okay? Now, another thing I also want to call to our attention is this one. I do not know how many of us, especially the new timers, I do not know how many of us has taken our time to look into this. Now, this is the 3D view. It is actually loading. Now, the 3D view gives you an instant insight into how many people are in the community, how many people are working. Now, when you look at this thing moving around, you see countries like South Africa, you see countries like Benin Republic, you see countries like Papua New Guinea, you see different countries. Now, all these people, I dare to tell you that they are full-timers and they are growing the TBC community. They are growing the TBC community effectively. Now, this particular series that I am running, it may not end in this episode. There may be another episode, there may be another episode, there may be another episode, because I have to take my time to expatiate and give in details some things that we do not know about the Kringle Society in the Kringle Cash. So this is the much I have to say for now. So for those of us who has the time, do take out time to look into this. Look into the 2D. The 2D is also one. Now this 2D gives you also an idea. This thing shows um, people that are in the community. Now, those that are actively in the community. Now, we are moving like a virus. That's exactly how we're moving. It's like nothing is happening in the TBC community. It's like everyone is silent. In fact, I tell you, many people who are sleeping are not aware that there is anything like TBC. That is why admin is saying, go out there, wake them up. Wake them up so that they can come to the light of the knowledge in the Kringle Society, in the TBC Society. So this is what I have to show you for now. Now let's go into one more thing, then I'll call it a day. Tomorrow, sorry, by Friday, I will continue from where I stopped. Okay. All right. So look at our numbers. Our numbers are doing very well. I must tell you the truth. Our numbers are doing very well. Now, this is, I'll talk about two things. And after talking about addressing these two things, then I think I'll call it a day. Tomorrow, I'll continue. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about here is under the marketing section. Under the marketing section, posters. Now, so many people do move around the Kringle Society, move around the Kringle Cash, but they do not take their time to look through all the information that are being put here. I'm going to take my time today to explain this. If this is the only thing I finish explaining today, then I think it will be fine. Tomorrow we will continue. Now, I want us to watch it together. Now, the true value of TBC is based on the number of living men and living women that join us in agreement as members. We simply measure that value in gold. So many of us in the Kringle Society, we are not aware of our grounds. Let me explain. The reason why admin is talking about having 1 million billionaires who are broadcasters, 1 million billionaires who are billionaires, is because those people have to be informed. The Kringle Society is a school, an online school, where you will be revealed information. That is where you would come across, your eyes of understanding will be enlightened. Let me make use of that word. Your eyes of understanding will be enlightened in the sense that things that were hidden in plain sight, that is esoteric languages that has always been there, or esoteric things you've not seen, things you do see but you've not taken note of it. You will get to see it and you begin to take note of it in the Kringle Society. Now, in the Kringle Society, you'll be able to understand how the elites operates. In the Kringle Society, you'll be able to watch movies because the elites speak to the communities, speak to the world using Hollywood movies. So many people watch those movies like Prison Break. They are speaking. The latest movie, Fast and Furious, they are speaking. They are telling you so many things. Now, if you listen to that particular man, who is, I call the boss, I don't know his name, but that particular man, he said something key. He said by 2047 or 2040 something, that the human race will be wiped out and that they are going to metamorphose human beings with robots. There was a statement he made, but what I am saying is the implication of what he said. He did not say it in black and white, but he was able to pass it on like it was just a joke. And when you watch the video, you find out that two guys were the ones that were able to defeat him. And those two guys were two hefty guys. But one person could not beat him. Superhuman being, meaning he has been upgraded with the help of technology, meaning he was no more himself. And if you watch the end of the movie, he was shut down, meaning he had no life of his own anymore. Now, this is where we are moving to. If nothing is done in the TBC community, if there is no conscious awakening of the whole people all around you, this is how humanity will enter into a state of oblivion. So now let me come again. The true value of TBC is based on the number of living men and living women that join us in agreement as members. We simply measure that value in gold. I want you to also understand that we are not backed up by gold. I think I made that mistake yesterday when I was doing my broadcast. We are not backed up by gold. We are not backed up by grains of gold. What we do is we are backed up by what? Members who join in voluntarily. Members who join in voluntarily, but we measure their values as what? Grains of gold. So it is expected that individuals in the community value their coins. If you do not value your coins, that means you are abusing the membership agreement. Many do not know what this membership agreement is. The membership agreement means you are not allowed to discount. So many of us in the TBC community, we are still trying to discount. And I would advise that you desist from such acts because the system and the administration are working strongly to make sure that such kind of thing is what put away once and for all. So my advice is if you go ahead to discount, you may lose your account and you may lose it permanently. Now, another thing I'll talk about is TBC. TBC, Kringles, is not just another cryptocurrency. No. Innovation has brought the first abundance-based currency. The price only goes up. Now, while its infinite units always remains affordable for the masses to acquire. Now, this clearly shows that our values continue to go up and continues to go up and continues to go up. It doesn't mean that it goes up and up. Let me throw more light on it so that a good number of us will understand what I mean. Okay. Now, this is our growth curve. Now, you agree with me that our growth curve does not just go up. It goes up, it goes down. Now, let me zoom in. I want to zoom into the latest one, that is for today. Now, if we look at this curve, you will find out that this is now this is 7th of November. You'll find out that it appreciates, it depreciates, and all these things is completely tied to the grain market value. If you want to know about value, let me show you about the grain market value. Now, this is a third-party calculator. This is a third-party calculator. This gives you an insight. It gives you a very good insight in grains of gold. Now, I also want to say is, for you to be able to understand whether the value of gold will appreciate or depreciate slightly, I want to show us. When you go into this place, because a good number of us do not look at it. Today's gold rates, it is like it is hidden. So many people don't look at it. Click this and you come in. Now, this is what it takes to be a billionaire in the community. You should have a vast understanding of what TBC is. I told you it's a school. You can't wake up one morning and become a billionaire. You should be able to understand what TBC is all about. And for you to understand it, you should know all these things. You should have it by heart. All these things are third parties. Over time, we are going to build our own system. Remember, we're an economy, an abundance-based system. What we are doing is we are employing the help of third parties, and then we use it to step up. Even our admin doesn't collect Pringles because For now, it has not gotten to the point he can collect it. Soon, he's going to collect it. Some of us are saying, he may never collect it. No, he will. Admin is definitely going to collect Kringles as a medium of exchange, but it is not now. We need to grow our population, first of all. We need to grow our merchants to a good number, to the point where anyone within the world can accept Kringles as a medium of exchange, to the point where institutions begin to accept it as a medium of exchange. At that point, you would find out that even the admin would give an alternative option as Kringles as a medium of exchange. Of course, we wouldn't have gotten to about 5 million. No, that would be too early. We wouldn't have gotten to about 10 million before he collects it. That would be too early. Maybe we may not have even gotten to 100 million before he collects it. Now, I foresee a time of maybe when we've gotten to about 800 million, 900 million, and you may think that is far, but no, it's a factor of how willing we are to work. The admin is calling out to people to become broadcasters. When you do broadcasting and people are listening to you, people are motivated to work. And you don't just work by folding your hands and then enjoying the person's broadcast and then saying, this person is nice. He speaks very well. He entertains very well. No, the purpose of a broadcast is to make a conscious effort to go out and then see if things can be productive. Go out and let people turn you down. Now, if you think you can't go out, then take responsibility and then pay the money by yourself. If you cannot go out, at least you have friends around you. Give out the admin credits. I don't think it would cost you anything to give out admin credit. You can give out admin credit and then occasionally meet them, talk to them, tell them it doesn't cost anything. It's just 8 grains of gold. 8 grains of gold is approximately $25 for now. So those of you who can, take your time to look through all these informations. Now, this was the grain value. This is gram value. This is for the gram value. If you want to change it to grains of gold, you can easily change it. How? All you need to do is come here and then change it from ounce. This is gram, this is kilo, this is dollar, and this is grain of gold. When you click on it, it will refresh. Now, when you refresh, you will find out that for today, the grain value for today is 3.10. For yesterday, it was 3.09. Now, for the day before yesterday, it was 3.14. You find out that this appreciated. Now, this is 3.10. It depreciated yesterday, and then it appreciated the day before yesterday. 3 days ago, it appreciated. You will find out that the rates are relatively stable. That's why when you go into our Kringle Cash, there was a place I was looking at. No, not here. When you go into your Kringle Cash, I think time is already against me. I think I should be quick. Now, when you go into this place, you will find out that this is the reason why our graph is going up, is going down, is going up, is going down. Now, when you zoom in, I want to zoom in so that I'll give us some simple correlations. I'm not able to get the last one. Let me see. No. This is 6th. I would like to also get 7th. Sorry, do bear with me. No. Well, I think I'm not able to get it. Okay, I think I've gotten it. Well, the bottom line of what I'm trying to say is this is the reason why it goes up and it goes down. Supposing I'm able to zoom in and then I'm able to get the exact one I want. Now, this one is actually going down. Now, this is 6th. Now, this is 5th. Now, this is 4th. Now, also bear in mind that our numbers are also appreciating. So there is an algorithm that they've also designed. They don't just work with exactly how the market is. They do a little of modification so that our value can remain. When we go into this place, not here, this place, you'll find out that the grain value is relatively stable, but the influence of our numbers also counts. That is the reason why our value is like this. Okay, now let me go back to where I was. Okay, I was about this. Now, we've talked about this. Now, we already know how innovation has gone through. Now, this is an instance of a bulb. And then this particular person, they say, we will make millions. Now, I'll buy your way in. This is just an instance. It's just a kind of advertisement. Now, this is another one I want us to take note of. Work today, get paid today. Now, these things were not here yesterday. It has always been in the TBC community. Work today, get paid today. Now, there was a time a person called Brian existed in the TBC community, but due to our upgrade, I think the influence of Brian has fizzled out. We have upgraded. Okay. Now, you need money. The answer is work. But don't be a hard working parasite. What does it mean to be a hard working parasite? Discounting is not allowed in the TBC community. Now, this is being said again and again, and admin is making plans to do away with discounters once and for all. Now, for those people who have been discounting, I want you to be aware that if you have one TBC at your disposal, you have to be accountable for those coins. So you will see that it's a responsibility to become a TBCian. It is not about having so much TBC, because if you have so much TBC at maturity, you become the big shot. You have to justify the efforts by working to see how you do it. If the TBC community takes 10 years to get to maturity, it is expected that if you are a TBCian, then you are going to be paying your monthly admin fee, which is about $25. Now, it's a factor of the grain market value. You and I can remember, let me quickly go to this place. You and I can remember that at a point, 8 grain of gold was $22. Now, at a certain point, 8 grain of gold became $25. I also want you to understand that as the system will collapse and the fiat system returns back to the gold backing, because that will definitely happen. When that happens, I want you to know that the 8 grain of gold may not be $25 again. This is an open announcement. The 8 grain of gold may not be $25 again. Why will that be? Because the demand for gold will skyrocket. So the $25 you are seeing now may become $27, $30, $35, $40. It could even get to $50, but it will remain 8 grains of gold. Now, why is that? It's because the system is proof against inflation. Because the fiat system continues to depreciate in value, the purchasing power goes down. But gold does not have depreciating effect. It has a steady effect and an appreciating effect. Shortly, in a short while from now, this 8 grain of gold you are seeing may not be $25 again. You may see it as that. At a point, it was $22. We were able to afford it. So many people are crying now because the grain market value has appreciated. I want you to understand that it may not remain this way continually. But you should also understand that the TBC community is getting organized. It may remain $25 possibly for another 1 year. But I know that in a short while, it won't remain $25. So please, let's bear this in mind, okay? I've said so much already, and I'm actually out of time. And I want to stop here for today. And then from tomorrow, I'm going to continue from this. Now, this was where I stopped. According to the TBC police, this was the time we had the TBC police. But now, TBC police doesn't exist. However, let's read it and then we'll stop there. Now, according to TBC police investigations, according to TBC police investigations, 90% of all Facebook posts and comments offering TBC at a discount are scams, trying to trick people out of their money. They don't even own a TBC coin in the first place to sell. We advise all members of TBC to flag all of these ads on Facebook with a poster like this. Now, this will help the TBC police to quickly find these ads so we can investigate them. Now, this was the time the TBC police existed. Now, at one point, the admin saw that it wasn't necessary anymore. Reasons best known to him. Now, this is exactly what admin is trying to say. Now, this is the poster that the admin and the TBC police has brought up and said, if you see people who are discounting, make it obvious. Now, there was a time you may have indulged in that act. Now, if you indulge in it going forward, the reference was made by the 28th of August 2018 If you discounted around that time going forward, I tell you that your send button will be turned on again. So please, the era of getting TBC cheap has gone. The era of being unserious in TBC has gone. You have to understand that we're in a corporate environment now. I read this last one and I'll call it a day, okay? TBC discounters are evil, blood-sucking parasites that could care less about anyone else, including their buyers, knowing that admin will eventually catch up to them and suspend all the wallets. I doubt if the era of suspension is still existing. I can tell you it may not be suspended again. It may now be what? Permanently switched off. If you see an ad from a TBC discounter and don't have time to report them, then comment using this image to show your disgust at their revolting attempts to harm us. Yes, so I would advise that we desist from it. And this is what admin is saying. You won't like me when I'm angry. This is the TBC admin. I think I'll call it quit for today. Now, I'm exploring the Kringle cash from the eyes of the administration of the TBC community. So I'm going to take my time to explore all the things that so many people has not taken time to look at. I will do it, and then maybe by the time I am through, we'll continue with our events. You know, there is a series program that is still pending, which is the last days, TBC is the last days Exodus. I have to explain those things, but it's a big thing, it's a big subject. So I'm going to build this, my broadcast, to be like a live video, to be like a season program, a program where people will come in, listen to what I have to say, and then will build themselves to the level of the understanding that I can pass across to them. All right, I will stop here. If there are people that are in my broadcast, let me check. And okay, I think there are 3 people that are in my broadcast, but none of them has responded. They are watching me and they are not saying anything, but that's fine. It's all good. I've spent so much time, 52 minutes. Wow. I'm so sorry for that. So please, I'll be here again by Wednesday, by Friday. This is Wednesday. I'm going to, as much as possible, make my broadcast on Mondays, on Wednesdays, and on Fridays. Now, my timing is not certain yet. It could be 4:30, it could be 5 o'clock. I do not know. But for those of us who have stayed with me up until now, I do appreciate your concern, and I do appreciate the fact that you listen to me. So I will stop here for today. By Friday, I will continue. Cheers. Do have a wonderful day. Since there are no comments, then I think I can call it quit for today. Do have a lovely day. Bye for now.